be starting the meeting in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Gawin natin ang printing ngayon is million na-raise to na.
The hearing of the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms is now called to order. Good afternoon to everyone, to our colleagues here in the committee, as well as to our resource persons, to our visitors. Before we start, the chair would like to request for a minute of silence, for 1 minute silent prayer. Okay, thank you. We now move. Do I hear any? Yes, Deputy Speaker. There is a motion to. Yes, Deputy Speaker Abu. There is a motion made by Deputy Speaker Rani Abu to dispense with the calling of the roll. The motion is duly seconded. The motion is approved. We now proceed with item number 3, which is
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
before that,
Deputy Speaker.
may I move for the approval of the minutes of the November 29, 2017 meeting. So,
Second.
Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion duly seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is approved. We now proceed with item number 4, which is recognition of members who are present here. Earlier, we had with us our Majority Floor Leader, Congressman Rudy Fariñas, and with us this afternoon is to my right, Deputy Speaker Gwen Garcia. I will mention the names of members in no particular order. Please bear with me as I mention your name without particular order of rank and position here in the House of Representatives. We'd like to recognize Congressman Joseph Stephen Paduano, Congressman... Kaya nga may disclaimer na wala ng particular order eh. Pwede pa bang i-withdraw yun? Anyway, we'll proceed with the recognition of Congressman Ben-Hur Lopez, Congresswoman Honorable Vinnie Nola Ortega, Congressman, one of the authors, Congressman Jose Panganiban Jr., Deputy Speaker Freddy Nil Castro, Deputy Speaker Raneo Abu, Congressman Ace Barbers, Congressman Winston Castelo, Congressman Anthony Bravo, Congressman Vincent Bingbong Crisologo. Good afternoon, sir. Congressman Tonchi Tino, Congressman Lawrence Fortun, Congressman XJ Romualdo, Congressman Rodante Manong Dante Marcoleta, Congressman D.V. Savillano, and Congressman June Datol. Did I fail to mention anyone? Any member? Well, of course, we're already known. Anyway, I'd like to acknowledge also our resource persons. First and foremost, coming from the Commission on Elections, Attorney Chopisto Elnas Jr., Director of COMELEC. He is in charge of the barangay and SK elections, the supposed to be barangay and SK elections. Attorney Bartolome Sino Cruz Jr., Deputy Executive Director of the COMELEC. I understand we also invited some of our commissioners. May we inquire? Currently, Director, how many commissioners do we have in the commission?
We have four, Mr. Chairman.
Currently,
Acting Chairman, Commissioner Pareño, Commissioner Guia, Commissioner Guanzon, and Commissioner Abbas.
well, of course, the opinion that you will give to this committee regarding queries is as good as there would be statement. But the chair would like to ask, what is the reason why they are not here before this committee?
I was informed, Mr. Chair, that Commissioner Guanzon wrote a letter to the committee that she will not be able to attend this. Commissioner Guia called up, informing that he will not be able to attend this meeting. I understand Commissioner Abbas' father just died, and nasa morning ata sila.
Well, the committee and the House of Representatives is sorry to hear that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Tino.
parang napakahalaga po ng proposal, pero ni isang commissioner ng COMELEC ay wala rito. No, ay kailangan pong marinig natin mula sa commissioner, sa mga commissioner mismo, kung ano ang posisyon ng komisyon. No, at tinitingnan ko mga guests, actually, mawalang galang na po. Pero ang nakikita ko po dito, Deputy Executive Director for Operations. Hindi pa nga po yung Executive Director Mr. Chair, baka mahirapan tayo na ang committee ito na magkaroon ng nakasasapat na pagdinig kung wala ang mga responsableng opisyal ng COMELEC, Mr. Chair.
Well, I understand. This is from the chair that from the time we became chairman of this committee, it is Attorney Teopisto Elnas who is in charge, in particular, of the barangay and SK election. So he is very well equipped operationally and legally to answer all queries of this committee. Namimiss lang namin yung ilang mga commissioners ng COMELEC. Parang ayaw na yata nilang pumunta rito sa Congress. It's been a long time.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Marcoleta.
does that mean that the two gentlemen representing the COMELEC are in a position to bind their institution, whatever decisions that we might be able to take here?
Director Sino Cruz.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Chairman. We do not have specific authority from the Commission.
So what is the extent of your authority, sir, in coming here?
We can provide for the status of the preparations for the BSK.
Mr. Chairman,
Anyway, yes, please. I will
Mr.
defer to
Chairman.
my...
I think the matter of being authorized or not as a representative by the Commission on Election is something that is immaterial in this proceeding now. Because it is not the Commission that approves proposed legislation. We members of the House of Representatives, particularly the members of this committee, are the ones who are authorized to approve whatever measure is set for hearing today. Therefore, it does not affect the legality or the propriety of any proceeding that we may more or less approve in this proceeding now.
You are
Mr.
correct,
Chair, we're
Deputy
not saying-
Speaker.
Mr.
We
Chair.
now proceed with the recognition.
Mr. Chair, we're not saying that we can attack on the basis of our attendance. My only question is why did we have to invite them if they are not supposed to take part in this proceeding? I think the invitation was sent to the COMELEC, right? And the commissioners, nobody did want to come. If that is the setup, if that is the standard response that the COMELEC is giving us, which probably reflects how much importance or no importance at all is being ascribed to this meeting, then even if there are no members of the COMELEC or any representative, we can go on. That is the whole point.
I agree with you, Manong Dante. Before we proceed, we recognize first the Vice Chairwoman of our committee, former Governor of Nueva Vizcaya, Congresswoman Quaresma. We now proceed with the recognition of some of our guests and resource persons. Attorney Giselle Villamor, Head of Policy Department, League of Cities. Where is Attorney Villamor? Good afternoon, Attorney Villamor. With us also today are officers of the Liga ng mga Barangay sa Pilipinas. Its national president is Attorney Edmund R. Abisamis. Attorney Abisamis, you are recognized. Mr. Ricardo B. Corpus, Councilor Ricky Corpus, Liga ng mga Barangay, Quezon City. Mr. Lorenzo Zuniga Jr. Of the Liga ng mga Barangay. We have with us Commissioner James Cesar Ventura of the National Youth Commission. And Mr. Ramon Casiple, Chairman of the Consortium on Electoral Reforms. So, with us before us today are 4 pending bills that seeks to postpone the synchronized barangay and SK elections, which is scheduled to be held on May 14, 2018. So, the first bill that was filed about postponement was filed by Congressman Johnny T. Pimentel, House Bill number 7072, and he informed this honorable committee that he will defer to the sponsorship speech of the other author, the author of House Bill number 7128, Congressman Jose T. Panganiban. We will now hear from our author, Congressman Panganiban.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon to everyone. Mr. Chair, we barely have 5 session days left, and in order to expedite the matter, I am adopting my explanatory note as my sponsorship speech. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Panganiban. House Bill number 7167, but before that, we'd like to recognize Congresswoman Abigail Ferriol Pascual, our member. Ayan, pakibigyan ng upuan si Congresswoman Abby Pascual. We now proceed with the next bill, which is House Bill number 7167 by Representative Reynaldo V. Umali. To represent Congressman Umali, he deputized Congressman Winston Winnie Castelo of the 2nd District of Quezon City.
Thank you very much, Mr. Presiding Officer, Mr. Chairman. For purposes of brevity, sir, and to save precious legislative time, I move that, of course, the next representative. To save precious legislative time, Your Honor, may I move that the explanatory note of the sponsor, Congressman Ray Umali, be made as the sponsorship speech of this representation. So move.
Thank you, Mr. Congressman Castelo. And the last bill that is filed on the matter is House Bill number 7217 by Congressman Edgar Egay Sarmiento of Northern Samar. All right. Okay. Before we proceed with the bill of Congressman Sarmiento, I will go back first to the bill of Congressman Johnny Pimentel, and I will recognize Congressman Bravo to deliver Congressman Pimentel's sponsorship speech of his bill.
Thank you, Mr.
Congressman
Chairman.
Bravo, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, our distinguished colleague and member of this committee. I am presenting House Bill number 7072, filed by Congressman Johnny Pimentel for the consideration of the committee. House Bill 7072 is an amendment to Republic Act number 9164 and proposes the postponement of the election of the synchronized barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan election from May 2018 to October 2018. The proposed postponement is only for 5 months, Mr. Chairman, but is absolutely essential given our current political climate and the capacities of the election authorities. Given the magnitude and the scale of the elections, the Commission on Election must be given time to correctly organize the voters' list, prepare the ballots for every barangay, and coordinate with the local counterparts. It is important to allow them as much time as possible in order to fully perform their functions and to ensure the sanctity of the ballot. And as such, the postponement is necessary. The barangay is an important component in the Philippine government. Barangay officials provide first-level services, coordinate with their communities, and transmit their constituents' concern to the higher levels. They are at the very forefront of representation and services in the country. The election of barangay officials should not be taken lightly. It is important to ensure that there will be effective, peaceful, and honest elections throughout the nation, and that such elections will further the national interest. It is in that light that we submit House Bill 7072 for the consideration of the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Bravo. So, the last bill on the matter is the one that I mentioned earlier, which is House Bill number 7217, filed by Congressman Egay Sarmiento. Is Congressman Sarmiento here? So, out of courtesy to Congressman Sarmiento, the chair would like to request Congressman Winnie Castelo to share his precious time with us and
Likewise,
read the explanatory note of Congressman Sarmiento.
Likewise, Mr. Chairman, as suggested and instructed by Representative Egay Sarmiento, he is also a main author of a bill that would extend the barangay elections. I also move that the same be, the sponsorship speech of the same be made as a sponsorship of this, of the resolution. I was explaining that this is very precious, Mr. Chairman, because as you all know, there are a lot of things to do in COMELEC, and there's also a public pronouncement from a lot of agencies that the continuance of election will bear fruit of a lot of problems, especially on the candidates that are involved in drugs. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I move that the sponsorship speech of Representative Sarmiento, as contained in the explanatory note, be made as a sponsorship speech. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Congressman Castelo. The chair would like to state, for us to have orderly proceedings, we will allow those who are opposing the bill to speak, and then thereafter we will allow those who are in favor to say their piece. So may we hear from those who are, may we hear the position of the members.
Mr. Chair, may I suggest that we please first hear the comments or observations or anything coming from our resource persons before we make some statements.
Well, yeah, we'd like to hear first from Attorney Abisamis from the Liga ng mga Barangay. You are recognized, Attorney.
Thank you very much, Honorable Tugna, Chairman, and to all the members of this committee, Your Honors. Good afternoon. First of all, with the permission of the Honorable Committee, I would like also to acknowledge the presence of my colleagues in the Liga ng mga Barangay. Aside from myself, Lorenzo Zuniga, who is our Secretary General, and Mr. Ricardo Corpus, the NCR Liga Chapter President and that of Quezon City. We also have with us this afternoon Erwin Esguera, Region 4A President, Dulia Sultan, our Region 12 and North Cotabato President. She came all the way from Cotabato, Your Honors. Mr. Dindo Lignig, our Region 6 and Antique President. Adnan Birwar, our Maguindanao and ARMM President. He came all the way from Maguindanao, Your Honor. Mario Subagan of Ilocos Sur and Region 1. Nestor Amora of Caraga Region. Randy Opisan of Region 11, Nelson Maranya of Region 12, Region 5, sorry, Your Honors, Marlon Manalo of Mandaluyong City, and Wilfredo Maliksi of Batangas. we are here, Your Honor, to support and to express our support for the bills now pending here in Congress and under deliberation by this committee. First of all, I would like to thank the House of Representatives, this committee also, for sponsoring the bills, for initiating actions related thereto, and for lending an ear to the Liga ng mga Barangay, the organization of all the 42,036 barangays throughout the Philippines. The Liga ng mga Barangay sa Pilipinas supports the bills for postponement. Let me say, Your Honors, that this is not for any self-serving or parochial reasons. We have been saying that the term of office of barangay officials should be amended from 3 years, 3 terms, to 5 years, at least 2 terms. And I understand that during the 16th Congress, that was the subject matter of several bills that were filed also. And I understand, if I remember it right, these bills passed the committee hearing, and the recommendation was for its approval. In those bills, Your Honors, there was a provision for the election to be postponed for 2 years and subsequent elections to be held every 5 years thereafter. So we are just glad, Your Honor, that there was an initial postponement of 1 year and the second postponement for 7 months. But it's still incomplete, or a total of 19 months, still short of the 2-year postponement or extension, and for elections to be held every 5 years thereafter. Also, Your Honor, we understand that there are certain programs and trusts of the government that require really the focus of barangay officials, because as leaders at the grassroots level, I am very sure, and I hope you will agree with us, that there is something that the current officials of the barangay can do regarding these issues. As a matter of fact, we have attended several seminars and conventions and assemblies so as to hear out the issues involved, including the very significant proposal to change the system of government from unitary to federal. So we, the current officials or the current leaders at the grassroots level, have been providing the necessary forum to hear out the comments, the advantages and disadvantages, so that the people can be well educated. So come the plebiscite, they will be able to vote intelligently on the issues concerned. So I just like to reiterate, if the elections will push through, Your Honor, and as a matter of fact, now there are areas in the Philippines wherein those who are interested to run are already campaigning, forming alliances and everything, taking away the focus of these barangay officials from the issues and programs of the national government. We cannot say that this will last only until June or July, because after the election of barangay officials, there is a program that is being required by the DILG, which is called the Beneo program, or the Barangay Newly Elected Officials program. So before they could actually perform well their functions, they have to undergo this program sponsored by the DILG. And still, after the elections, at least for a period of 1 month, there will be an election of Liga chapter presidents at the municipal and component city level. And then after another month, there will be an election of barangay officials. And everyone has been participating in this exercise. There will be an election at the provincial level. And lastly, it is the national level. So we could see the period of time within which the focus of barangay officials will be on those issues rather than the issues or the thrust of the government. We are not undermining the significance of the barangay election, Your Honors, because what we are just asking is a postponement, not a perpetuation of the term of office of the incumbent barangay officials. We are only postponing it and setting it to another date, Your Honors. So, aside from those, Your Honor, we would like to state that on the campaign against illegal drugs, the Liga ng mga Barangay and the barangay officials have been very active in their barangay anti-drug abuse council and also in complying with the mandates under the Dangerous Drugs Board Regulation number 3 series of 2017.
Yes,
We have been pushing
please,
this, Your Honors.
kindly wind up, Attorney Abisamis,
yes, Your Honor.
please. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I'm giving you a minute to wind up.
All right. Regarding the, well, of course, this is just a part of the whole exercise. We understand that this, whatever happens here, in case it will be approved, the postponement, we have to go to Senate also. And we have been making the necessary representations, and I hope that like this honorable chamber, you are lending an ear to the Liga ng mga Barangay. We are confronting the issues and not evading the issues. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you. Yes, Congressman Bingbong Crisologo, you are
may I
recognized.
know if there is a representative of the ILG, because we have an undersecretary for barangay affairs. May we know why he was not invited, or if he was invited, he should be here. Because I'm sure that the undersecretary for barangay affairs would be very well versed on this matter. So may we know if he was invited, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Congressman Crisologo. Undersecretary Dino.
Bobot Dino, yes.
Yes, he was invited. Unfortunately, he is currently in a ruling party PDP Laban event right now in Bulacan. So, I understand.
Do we have an invitation to him? Was he notified? Because it's very important. You see, his opinion, being the USEC of the DILG for barangay affairs, it is very important that we should hear what is the opinion, because it's been going around, and considering that he's also close to the president, then at least we can learn from him what would be the pulse of the people and the president.
Well,
with regards to
earlier,
this,
if you will allow me to speak, but this is not first-hand information because he is not the one who is speaking. I heard him on the podium earlier in Bulacan, and he
Because-
said he supports the postponement of the
yeah,
barangay
but I
and SK
also
elections.
heard him that he said that tuloy na tuloy ang eleksyon, including the Senate President.
I understand that. Although I have to inform this body that I heard him say that 11 in the morning today, March 12, 2018. So, can I proceed? Yeah, I will proceed. But before I proceed, I would like to recognize first Congressman Ron Salo of Kabayan Party List. You're recognized, Congressman. From the NYC, may we hear from you?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for inviting us over to contribute into this discussion. The National Youth Commission maintains its position that while we respect the intention of Congress to facilitate changes and reforms in the barangay system, we also urge for us to finally implement Republic Act 10742 or the Sangguniang Kabataan Reform Act. It has been passed since 2013, and or the last time that the SKs had been the SK positions had been filled up has been 2013. The law has been passed before the past administration went out, no, and it has not been implemented yet because one of the critical positions that had to be filled up first are the Sangguniang Kabataan positions in the barangays. To reiterate their important mandate, they are to manage 10% of the general funds of the barangay that shall protect the welfare of the youth, because these amounts shall be disbursed for activities on quality education, environmental protection, climate change adaptation, DRR and resiliency, youth employment and livelihood, health and anti-drug abuse, gender sensitivity, sports development, capability building, and leadership. Those are provided for in Section 20 of the SK Reform Law. Right now that we do not have the SKs, the fund is being managed by a barangay task force on youth development, who is headed by a kagawad of the barangay. And the problem with this, Mr. Chair, is that not all the kagawads leading the barangay task force are kabataan, And it's important for us to capture the perspective of the youth, because reading from the spirit and intent of RA 10742, we want the young people to be empowered and involved as they manage resources devoted for them. Also, there is a vacuum that has been left since 2013, because unlike in the barangay, when the elections were postponed, there were barangay officials who were on a holdover capacity. That is unlike the Sangguniang Kabataan. Way back 2013, when the election for SK was postponed, holdover was not one of the provisions. Nag-step down po yung mga SK natin. Meaning, since 2013, wala pong elected SK officials. SK is a very vital pillar to implement the law, because the law also mandates the establishment of local youth development officers or offices, as well as local youth development councils. And supposedly, SK, the LYDO, and the LYDC shall complement one another. SKs are the elected youth representatives. LYDOs are the local government unit office, devoted for youth welfare. And LYDCs would be a congregation of youth organizations who shall together decide for the welfare of the sector. However, with the dearth of the Sangguniang Kabataan, who should be presiding over the local youth development council, many LGUs had not implemented this provision of the law. Hence, the National Youth Commission finally appeals that we implement this law. Our position has been supported by a joint manifesto of youth development officers urging President Duterte and Congress to finally push through with the SK elections. This was dated December 15, 2017, and I believe the Commission has already transmitted a copy of the manifesto to the Office of the President and to both houses of Congress. Finally, Mr. Chair, we appeal, really, for us to push through with this SK elections, not just because NYC and other government agencies has been very actively going around to implement and ensure proper implementation of the mandatory training provision. But if we do not implement the SK reform law, we miss out implementing two key reforms in the barangay system. First would be the anti-dynasty provision. First, the first ever law passed and enacted by Congress containing an anti-dynasty provision is within RA 10742. Secondly, Mr. Chair, would be the mandatory training for elected officials. And it is also first of its kind. Bago makaupo at mag-assume into position ang isang elected official, kailangan niyang mag-undergo ng mandatory training. If we keep on postponing this election, and there has been, I think this is the fourth postponement for SK, nakarami na po,
Hindi
Mr.
naman. No. Well, I'd like to...
SK po since 2013.
The law was, it was amended. That's the main reason. So, let me put it on record that I believe that it's the third time, not the fourth time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. But since 2013, the positions had been vacant. And if this law will not be implemented, we miss out implementing two key reforms, which we believe will not be only appropriate for the Sangguniang Kabataan, but also for the whole barangay system, the anti-dynasty provision, and the mandatory training provision. Thank you, Mr. Chair. NYC submits to counter the proposed bills and for us to push through with BSKE 2018. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. It is also the position of the committee for the youth to have a voice in the barangay. Before we proceed with our next questions, we'd like to recognize first Congresswoman Bernadette Herrera D. of BH Party List. A question from the Chair to the Commission on Elections. How will the preparation of for the May 14, 2018 barangay and SK elections be affected, assuming that we will consider the House bill that states that the postponement will be up to May of 2019. The question is merely hypothetical, Director. Director Elnas, please.
Basically, sir, for purposes of conducting the barangay elections next year, that's 2019.
This is the Congressman Ray Umali bill.
Yes,
Opo.
yes, sir. Basically, the preparations for the national and local elections for that year will be affected. Why? Because we will be preparing for the automated elections. As against for the barangay elections, we are preparing for the manual elections. So, yung timelines magkahalo-halo dyan, sir, and including the activities of the Commission on Elections.
Well, this is just a question from the chairman. What will be needed for it to be legally tenable for a barangay and SK elections to be held at the same time with the national and local elections? What is needed legally?
Una, sir, is batas. Second is yung technical at saka administrative preparations, because national and barangay elections, national, local, and barangay elections have two different concepts. National and local elections, the basic requirements is automated elections, while for barangay elections, considering the number of barangays, it will require, that's 42,041 barangays, so it requires also 42,041 ballot phases if we will automate the barangay elections. So basically, that's the very reason why we conducted the barangay elections in a manual manner, sir, not automated manner.
Thank you, Director. Following my train of questions, let me now proceed with the Pimentel and Panganiban bills. If elections will be moved to October, how will your preparations be affected? Considering that, in essence, there will be more time to prepare for the barangay and SK elections because there will be additional, I'm talking about October 2018. How will it be affected?
Basically, sir, we are on 80% as far as the preparation for the barangay and SK elections, sir. We were able to print almost all of the ballots and as well as election returns for the barangay and SK elections. We were able to we started the packing and shipping of or deployment of election non-accountable forms, including election forms and supplies. And we are now, we were able to constitute already the members of the electoral boards or the barangay electoral boards of election tellers, as well as barangay boards of canvassers. And we are now in negotiation, or there is already a MOA agreed by the COMELEC and Development Bank of the Philippines as far as the payment for the honorarium of the electoral boards in accordance with the ESRA law. Also, we are already in the preparation for the security preparations is already ongoing to ensure that the conduct of the elections for the barangay and SK elections will be peaceful and orderly. So if that's the case, if we will reset it again, one issue is that again, there is a need to appropriate for purposes of the plebiscite ballots, which is totally different from that of the barangay and SK ballots.
Oh, what plebiscite? Ano yun?
Sorry, sir.
Nadulas
sorry,
kayo,
sorry, sir.
attorney
If in case it will be
For a while,
we will reset. Sorry, sir.
may the chairman request for order, and we will give an opportunity to everyone to say their piece and raise their questions. So please, Director Elnas, continue. You have the entire committee.
If we will reset these elections this coming October, our preparations for the national and local elections will also be affected. Why? Because one, we are now already on the process of preparing for the national and local elections. Come October 2018, we will be undergoing the filing of the certificates of candidacy for the national and local elections. And at the same time, preparations for the national and local elections by that time is already on the full blast.
Since you have mentioned it, Director, when does the Commission plan to have the actual date of filing of certificates of candidacy for the 2019 national and local midterm elections?
This coming October 1 to 5, 2018, Your Honors.
Is it safe for me to say that that the only reason why the Commission is apprehensive of, I will use the word apprehensive, of moving or postponing the elections to October 2018 is that we do not have the required number of manpower coming from the Commission to be able to have it at the same time. Barangay SK elections, second Monday of October 2018, as well as the filing. Is it from an operational point of view, Director? Manpower, logistics?
Yes, sir. That's as far as the operational aspect, Your Honor. And aside from that, Your Honor, if in case we will push through with the barangay elections this coming October, basically, we will no longer be conducting the registration of voters for purposes of the 2019 national and local elections. Why? Because under Republic Act 8189, pasok na po tayo dyan sa prohibited period wherein which the COMELEC can conduct the registration.
Thank you, Director. Earlier, I'll recognize the author, Congressman Panganiban. He has a very relevant question on what is being discussed by Director Elnas. Congressman Panganiban, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just, because I heard from Attorney Elnas of the word plebiscite, may I ask Attorney Elnas, are you saying that we will have a plebiscite by October?
That's based on the proposed or the bill as for the May 2019, sir, nakamali lang ako, sir. For the May 2019, as far as the bill of Congressman Umali, it states also that simultaneous with the barangay elections will also be conducted the plebiscite, sir.
Well, go ahead. Can I speak? Here, in the Panganiban bill, in its explanatory note, assuming that among the four bills, the one that will be approved are the first two bills, which are which would want to move the barangay and SK elections to October 2018, the explanatory note says that the reason to move this is so that the barangay and SK elections will be held on the same date as the plebiscite or referendum on the new form of government. So yes, how do you intend to do that, Director?
Yes, sir. Pag isabay natin yan, sir, this coming October 2018, yun na nga, that's the very precise reason why I said that it will entail another budgetary requirements because one, we will be spending again for the printing of the ballots intended for the plebiscite, as well as the election returns, canvassing forms, and other forms and supplies needed for the conduct of the plebiscite. So, additional allocation ito, sir.
Congressman Panganiban.
Yes, Mr. Chair,
recognized.
precisely, if we will be having, for argument's sake, Mr. Chair, if we will be having a hypothetical plebiscite this coming October, then it will be best for us to postpone the barangay election and set it in October in order for the barangay and SK election and the plebiscite to be done in one go for us to save costs, Mr. Chair. October. If for example, we will have barangay elections in October and the plebiscite, then we will only have one budgetary requirements because sabay ng eleksyon ng barangay at ng plebiscite.
Pero, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair, okay?
Mr. Chairman, kasi sabi nila, while it is true that there will only be one expense, kaya lang, we will have to reprint all the ballots and reprint all the election returns because may kasama na for the plebiscite eh. So mawawala na yan ang sabi kanina.
Separate ang...
Magkaiba naman ng returns mo sa election at sa plebisito eh. Ang sinasabi ko lang makakatipid tayo doon sa mga sweldo sa mga teachers, doon sa mga logistical requirements, makakatipid tayo doon kasi sabay. But in terms of the paperwork, hindi tayo makakatipid dahil precisely dalawang election yan. Hindi mo pwedeng ilagay sa isa. But magbabayad tayo ng mga... How much do we spend for teachers? For the logistical requirements, yung mga pagpapadala ninyo sa mga probinsya.
Director Enlas.
For the electoral board, sir, we will be paying 3.5085 billion, sir.
Billion.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So meaning, if pag pinagsabi mo yan, is this for the board?
Yes, sir. Electoral board, sir.
Electoral boards. So meaning, isa na lang ang electoral board mo for the plebiscite and the barangay elections kapag pinagsabay mo. Pero pag magkaibang date, magbabayad ka sa barangay election ng 3 billion and then another 3 billion doon sa plebisito.
Tama yun, sir. But on the other hand, just in case this law will be passed, by May or by June, then we have to look into another issue, that is the bidding requirement, the bidding of these the paper ballots and other materials that will be used for the printing. It will take some time, so medyo ipit talaga itong October, sir. Yung tinitingnan namin. Aside from the fact that we will be spending again for a separate ballot itong plebiscite if in case is synchronized.
Okay.
Tama yung sinabi, sir, na we can save because we will be paying one set of members of the electoral board.
Chair. Ayun. Yes. Congressman Tino is recognized. Yes, please.
Clarificatory question, kasi may mga proposal na isabay yung barangay election sa plebiscite para sa charter change ito. Tama ba? Okay. Ngayon, ano po ang implications niyan as far as the counting of votes or ballots and canvassing? Kasi magkaiba po yun eh. Yung barangay, binibilang lang yung boto sa barangay tapos pinoproklama na ron. Wala na yung mga transmission sa munisipyo, probinsya, nasyonal, di ba? Eh, sa kaso ng plebisito para sa pagbabago ng konstitusyon, kailangan mula sa presinto, kailangan matali yan nationwide. So, the barangay elections do not have a mechanism for that nationwide tally of votes. So, paano mangyayari po? May hiwalay na paano yan? Manual na bibilangin?
Director Elnas.
Sir, it will be, Your Honor, it will be manually conducted, Your Honor. But as far as the submission of the results from the precinct for purposes of the barangay elections, it will be submitted to the Barangay Board of Canvassers. But as far as the plebiscite result is concerned, it will go to the city or municipal board of canvassers.
Paano yan? Manual pa rin yan?
Yes, sir.
Parang babalik tayo dun sa lumang kalakaran na yung boto sa presinto dadalhin sa manually.
Yes, sir.
Dadalhin yung ballot box sa munisipyo, tapos yung returns, yung certificate of canvass sa probinsya, and so on. At kung babalik dyan, yung mga dating duda natin, yung mga ballot box switching, manipulation, pagbubura, dagdag bawas, etc. Pwedeng pumasok uli yan. Tama po ba?
Those are possibilities, sir.
Those are
Yes,
possibilities.
yes,
So mukhang may ganyan pang usapin, no? Kung pag pinagsabay pala, lalabas, manual din yung plebisito para sa pagbabago ng konstitusyon. Kaya nga tayo nag-implement supposedly ng automated election para yung mga dating paraan ng pandaraya ay hindi na manumbalik. Pero ngayon, although hindi ko sinasabi na pagka automated na wala nang dayaan diyan. Meron nga nabubuhay uli yung usapin na may dayaan pa rin. Pero ang punto siguradong may dayaan dun sa luma na manual, no? Yung from ballot box snatching to yung dagdag bawas ni Garci, no? Yung certificate of canvass, binura-bura, pinalitan. So, Mr. Chair, mukhang hindi ganito kasimple yan hindi pwedeng madaliin, no? Yung pagsasabay ng barangay election which is a purely local election, hanggang barangay lang yan, hindi mo na problema yung canvassing dyan, tapos basta isasabay mo sa national plebiscite, hindi po pwedeng iratsada to, Mr. Chair. Yun ang gusto kong i-point out dito.
Yeah. Thank you, Congressman Tino. Well, let me recognize first Congressman Fortun.
Operationally kasi inaalala ko yung sabay na eleksyon ng national at saka barangay. Tanong ko lang sa COMELEC, di ba po pagka automated, clustered precincts yan? So ibig sabihin, pinag-isa yung maraming presinto para sa isang machine. Pero pagka manual naman, hindi clustered yung precincts.
We cluster, sir, pero maliit lang yung number of voters for every clustered precinct.
In other words, Mr. Chair, mas marami yung magiging precincts in the case of manual elections. At mas kakaunti in the case of automated elections. Now, how does the voter vote? No? Kasi halimbawa, ako ay galing sa precinct number 1. No? Pero yung precinct number 1 ko ay hindi naka-cluster doon sa PCOS machine na yun. Ibig sabihin, there will be different kinds of boards of election inspectors here. Di ba? Maaring boboto ako sa isang presinto para sa barangay elections. Pagboto ko naman sa national elections, lipat na naman ako doon sa clustered precinct na iba. So that's a nightmare, no? Operationally, hindi ko maintindihan paano gagawin yan. Di ba? Pwedeng pumunta ako sa isang polling place para bumoto sa barangay. Lipat na naman ako doon sa isa para sa automated elections ng national elections.
Congressman Fortun, well, in line with your questioning also, it is also the position of the chair is that from a legal point of view, the automated election system only speaks of regular elections. So, assuming that a plebiscite will be conducted come October of 2018, there is no inconsistency because the law does not require automated elections for plebiscite. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman. May I
I will-
Mr. Chairman? Okay, Mr. Chairman, assuming that we conduct manual elections or manual voting for barangay elections and the plebiscite, but the proposal was to also incorporate on the same date, no? I-hold na rin yung national and local elections.
I think,
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry. Let me just clarify for the benefit of everyone that what we are discussing here is the postponement to October 2018, not to the May 2019, Congressman Fortun.
And may I add, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
that
Congressman
What
Crisologo.
we are
Sir,
discussing now is the postponement of the barangay elections, not the plebiscite, because there's still no plebiscite to be speaking about. It is still speculative. So perhaps we will cross the bridge when we come to it.
Mr. Chair.
the matter has been
Yes.
sufficiently deliberated.
Chairman,
Mr. Chair.
Chairman,
Mr. Chair.
And
Chairman,
Mr. Chair.
Chairman.
Mr.
Sir,
Chair.
isang tanong na lang po.
same point, Congressman Tinio?
Sir?
Same point?
Different point.
Okay.
Hindi, ito mas basic na question sa COMELEC. Handa po ba kayo na i-hold ang barangay election sa ngayong Mayo? Walang postponement. Handa kayo?
Yes, sir. As far as our timelines is
So handa
concerned,
kayo
we are on track,
100%?
sir. Yes, sir.
Walang problema?
Yes, sir.
So kung ipopostpone, hindi dahil sa hindi ka handa kayo?
Yes, sir.
O malinaw na malinaw po yun. As
Mr.
far
Chair,
as
Mr.
COMELEC
Chair.
is concerned, walang problema at pwede nang iraos ang barangay election.
Mr. Chair.
Deputy Speaker Abu.
Hindi
is
naman ang
recognized.
pinag-uusapan natin ang dahilan ng pagpo-postpone natin handa o hindi handa ang COMELEC May mga rason kasi like yung inilabas ng DILG na we have 9,000 na mga drug lords or drug protectors na barangay officials. May tanong lang ako kay Director Enas. Mula dun sa iyong sagot
Thank you.
sa mga tanong ni Representative Panganiban na medyo by October 2018, medyo kapos pa kayo. Pag December 2018,
Lalo na, sir, because mag-i-intertwine na yung national and local elections preparation namin, sir, at saka barangay elections, sir.
hindi Sinabi mo kasi na kanina na kaya mangangapos kayo ng October 2018 dahil October 1 to 5 ay magkakaroon kayo ng proseso ng pagpa-file ng Certificate of Candidacy. Yun ang dinahilan mo kanina So para mawala tayo doon sa October 1 to 5, kung dali natin sa December.
Dito sa December naman, sir, marami na tayong activities doon sa preparation ng national and local elections, sir. Hindi lang filing ng certificates of candidacy, sir. Meron na tayong pre-logic acceptance test, meron na tayong
Okay, next question. Next question.
Okay, silence please.
Next question.
Can we give... Yes,
Yung
Congressman-
filing ng Certificate of Candidacy, circular ninyo yan. Resolution ninyo. Base sa inyong timeline. If ever na kaming nasa Congress ay mag-file ng resolution na yung October 1 to 5 ay i-move for other date. Let us say December or January.
If there is a law for that, sir, then we are under obligation, we're duty bound to follow it, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
In connection with that, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
you are bound
Congressman
to,
Crisologo.
Mr. Elnas, you are bound to follow it up if there is a law.
Yes, sir.
But bakit ba nyo ginawang October in the first place ang filing?
Because there are, after the filing, sir, there are still a lot of
So
activities
kung gagawin December yan, hindi kayo gagapusin sa oras.
medyo ipit na talaga yan, sir. Kasi you have to configure the ballot in accordance with the candidates that have been filed.
So gagapitin, gigipit
maipit
kayo
talaga,
sa
sir.
oras kung gagawin
Yes,
December yung filing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congresswoman Antonino. But before that, we'd like to recognize first Congressman Gus Tambunting, the chairman of the Committee on Games and Amusement, and Congressman Pablo Ortega. Yes, Congresswoman Megan.
I just
please.
want to ask Comelec, dun sa automated elections natin, when do you start printing the ballots? No, for the automated po. For ours, the national. Kailan po ba ang printing?
Last election, we printed the ballots October po.
October
no.
po.
February
po.
po.
February.
Yes.
February po.
Yes.
Kasi if I remember correctly, the substitution was until December, hindi po ba?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we move to December, kaya pa rin po. Kahit papano. Kasi you were accepting substitutions until December.
Yes, ma'am. Pero we started also the configuration of the ballot phases for each and every municipality, ma'am. Mahabang proseso kasi yan, ma'am.
Pero,
That's why, for purposes of substitution, dahil kukunti lang, ina-anticipate namin na kukunti lang yung may mga substitutions.
pero kaya kung sa kaya.
I cannot speak as far as the technical preparation.
Kasi February naman ang printing eh. That's still, what, almost 3 months to configure.
Yes, ma'am, but as I said, there are a lot of activities and preparations that will be done before the actual printing of
Yun
the
lang
ballot.
po yung point ko. Kasi there's no way you were printing the ballots very early because hanggang December may substitution. So kahit papano, may paraan kung gustuhin, hindi ho ba?
Thank you, Congresswoman
Mr. Chairman.
Antonino. Let me recognize Congressman Ace Barbers, please.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
Congressman Barbers.
I would like to hear the position of those that are against the proposed legislation. May I know if we have already asked everybody to speak so that we can go back to the, because we're moving from one topic to another, Mr. Chair. And though it is also a very interesting subject, we're going towards the cost already. It's not what the proposed bill's intention. So let's focus first on the proposed bill, and then the cost will come later on. Anyway, it's still Congress who will decide, because whatever cost that will be, Congress will provide, as they always say. So maybe there are still other resource persons who would like to speak, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Ramon Casiple, may we hear from you, please, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for this chance to speak on the topic. I would like to have only 2 points. We have always opposed postponing any election on the principle of strengthening our democratic practice. My second point is with regards to the various reasons for the proposal to postpone yet again, I think for the third time already, if it passed, the barangay and SK election. I support the position of the NYC in the full implementation of the reform SK law. Precisely because kawawa naman sila. Wala silang representation for so long. But the interesting topic, of course, is the plebiscite. No, I think by this time, nobody knows when that plebiscite will be done. So I don't think there is any point in reserving a certain date for the simultaneous holding of the SK and barangay election with a possible or probable plebiscite. Second, if you're talking the actual preparations, and the Comelec has already said something about it, it is already well advanced. We will be wasting billions already because the printing has been almost done already. the transportation of paraphernalia and so on has begun. And I cannot think actually of any reason, if you're talking operations or costing for that matter, to postpone it again. The third reason given on the question of relation to the drug problem in the barangays, I have spoken with the ILD people already on this. And in fact, I think the sentiment there, I don't know if they have an official position on this, but in public, the pronouncement of their spokesperson has said that they want the election to proceed precisely para maalis na daw yung mga personalities sa barangay level na may connection sa drug. Baliktad nga yung naririnig ko eh. I haven't heard from them na ang eleksyon na ito ay kailangang i-postpone para dyan sa drug issue. Kasi they already have a list eh. And I think PIDEA is being asked by the ILG, kung pakinggan mo yung public pronouncement, to release the names of these people, barangay chairman or barangay officials. So ang actually tanong ko lang isa, Mr. Chair, ano ba talaga yung, I mean, I know the reasons before, which we also opposed, yung dalawang eleksyon sa isang taon, di ba? Wala ng oras, makakatipid. I don't think these are arguments today. Kaya I have yet to hear an argument na bago, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Well, a word from the chair. I will not depart from the black letter bills that were filed. On the bill of Congressman Umali, he proposes that the barangay and SK elections be conducted at the same time with the midterm elections, May 2019, on the ground that a plebiscite will be held. It is written here in the bill. On the Panganiban bill, he proposes that it be moved to October 2018 to be able to save costs. Anyway, he states here, paraphrasing, that we can hold a plebiscite or referendum on the new form of government, meaning that is the very essence of the proposed bills. Congressman Castello first, before Congressman...
So having mentioned that, Mr. Chairman, which is now the subject of our discussion and later on votation, is it the Pimentel Panganiban bill or the Umali bill that we will be voting upon later on?
We will,
Mr. Chair.
we will come to that,
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Castello.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, I also, can I have a word, please? I also understand that based on my observations here in the committee on headed by Congressman Oging Mercado, as well as the commission that was constituted as a consultative commission coming from the Malacanang, Congress is well within range to be able to discuss the new form of government, considering that we have session days when we go back in May, as well as when we go back in July up to end of October. So I am just manifesting it in response to Mr. Ramon Casible. Ibig sabihin po, may panahon po ang Kongreso, ang lower house, to discuss the new form of government once we go back pagdating po ng Mayo, as well as pagbalik po namin pagdating ng buwan ng Hulyo hanggang Oktubre. Congressman Tino first, please. Sorry.
Chair, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Tanong po kasi ni may nagtanong po na kasamahan tayo, anong proposal po ba ang kino-consider? Yung Panganiban, Pimentel, which is to postpone to October 2018. So 5 buwan lang. Or yung kay Representative Umali, which is May 2019. Pero Mr. Chair, ang tanong ko, at hindi pa natin tinatanong ang COMELEC, meron din pong Sarmiento Bill. At para sa kaalaman ng publiko, ang Sarmiento Bill, ang proposal, i-postpone ang barangay election to May 2020. No, so ito talaga ay nilubos-lubos na, sinagad na. No, ay, 2020 sagarin na natin para isang harapan na lang dito sa Kongreso. Sa halip na babalik na naman tayo after tapos ipapostpone pa. So ganun ang ginawa ni Representative Sarmiento dito, na siguro tanungin din natin ang COMELEC ano naman ang tingin nila sa ganitong proposal.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, yun nga ang beauty ng sige, I will defer to
Why don't
Deputy
we
Speaker
place
Castro.
the discussion in proper perspective?
Yes, Deputy Speaker.
The first is we decide whether we are going to postpone it. And then after we shall have decided, we decide on what date.
Okay. Well, we can act on that if there is a proper motion. Anyway, before we proceed to do that, let me recognize first Congressman Egay Rice. Caloocan. Recognize. I'm just acknowledging you, sir. Congressman Barbers, please.
We have resource persons from League of Cities and I believe League of Provinces. Are there representatives here from the League of Provinces? Maybe we can also hear from them, Mr. Chair, before we come to the details of the proposed bill. I think that would help us a lot in deciding as to how we're going to approach the different legislation, the proposed bills. That's all, Mr. Chair. Let's just hear from them first.
Mr. Chairman, may I also know if the League of Governors and Mayors was invited to this meeting? They will also be affected.
Yes, before I address Congressman Barber's question, yes, everyone, all relevant and concerned individuals who are stakeholders on the matter of barangay and SK elections, the committee was responsible to invite everyone. So let me recognize Deputy Speaker Gwen Garcia, please.
Mr. Chairman, I think my colleague, Deputy Speaker Frederiel Castro here has taken up a very valid point. We have been listening extensively to the pros, the cons. So lest we be lost in the side issues, I therefore move, Mr. Chairman, that we postpone the barangay elections.
Mr. Chairman.
That is my motion, that we postpone the barangay elections that is scheduled on the 14th of May, 2018.
Mr. Chairman, before the voting, Mr. Chairman, before the voting,
Seconded. The motion is approved.
approve, wala pang voting.
Who has raised objections?
Mr. Chairman. Objection.
May we hear first from Congressman, with your indulgence, Congressman Fortun, Congressman Tino. May we hear first from Congressman Irice.
Mr. Chairman, it's the third time that we will be postponing barangay elections. Ang election po, simbolo yan ng demokrasya. If we will continue postponing barangay elections, even it is barangay, parang pinaglalaroan na lang natin ito. Parang hindi mahalaga ang karapatan ng mga mamamayan na pumili ng kanilang mga leader. Yung barangay officials, yan po yung araw-araw nilang kaharap, araw-araw na sinusungawan ng kanilang mga suliranin. Subalit, minadali na naman natin. Ngayon lang tayo nag-hearing, aprobahan na kagad natin. Hindi pa natin naririnig ang maraming mga sektor. For example, COMELEC, ni isang chair, ni isang member wala dito. Tinanong na ba natin kung magkano ang cost nitong pagpapostpone na naman na ito? Kung gaano kalaki yung magagastos, nagastos na, masasayang, kung ipopostpone na naman natin itong election na ito? Well, actually napakahalaga nitong barangay elections para sa mga mamamayan natin na nakikinabang o nahihirapan sa paglilingkod ng kanilang mga barangay officials na 5 taon na po, 5 years na nanunungkulan. Marami po dito, may sakit na, marami dito, inactive na. Ito na po, inihintay nila yung pagkakataon na ito na makaboto sila. Ngayon po, pinaglalaroan natin. Bakit? Kasi po, gusto natin masabay yung plebisito. At bakit? Gusto natin magkaroon ng plebisito para maaprobahan yung ating constitutional change na maglalaman na tayong lahat ay may extend ng term. Ayan po, yan ang mga maliwanag. Nagpunta kinausap kami ni Justice Chair, yung nag-file po ng resolution na ito sa Shangri-La, lahat ng Metro Manila, pinagdadala kami ng tao sa Plaza Miranda para mag-rally, para hilingin yung postponement ng barangay elections. Kasama pa doon si Attorney Abisamis. Maliwanag po, ang motibo nito, postponement ng barangay election, maisabay yung plebisito, ma-postpone yung election para i-extend natin yung mga sarili nating term of office.
Thank you, Congressman.
Ito po ay pagdi-disturb sa democratic process ng ating bansa. Hindi po ito maganda.
Well, let me just state something. We're just assuming this will be approved October 2018. Magkakaroon pa po tayo ng plebisito. At ang totoo po ron, ayoko naman pong tawagin na speculative kung magkakaroon ng extension of term. Ang gusto ko lang sabihin, ayoko pong pangunahan yung taong bayan. Ang ibig sabihin kasi, kaya nga pagdating ng Oktubre 2018, kaakibat po nito yung mismong plebisito. Isasubmit po ito sa taong bayan eh. So, ang taong bayan ang magsasabi kung sila po ba ay papayag o hindi. We do not want to second guess what they will say. And let me recognize Congressman Fortun, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. There's already a motion, but we appeal, Mr. Chairman, that before we treat the motion, we allow members to ask questions to our resource persons because we only heard the resource person speak, but we have not been able to ask questions, and to get answers from our resource persons, except the COMELEC perhaps, but we have not asked the Liga, we have not asked the NYC, and the consortium. No, they only gave their proposition, Madam, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
but
Congressman
members have not
Fortun.
been able to ask questions yet. So I think it's important that.
Well, as chair of this committee, I have been very liberal in allowing members as well as resource persons to speak, whether for or against. But of course, we are a deliberative body, collegial in nature, and anytime that a member of this committee would make a motion and it is already in the sense of the majority that they would want to approve the motion, pwede na po maaprubahan yan. Pero para mapakinggan po natin lahat, we will allow that. We will allow that. Kaso lang, anytime, any member will raise a motion again and it is the sense of the majority again, I have to respect that already. I have to respect that also.
Mr. Chair,
Deputy Speaker
personal
Abu.
privilege. I would like to react strongly doon sa sinabi ni Congressman Erice. Na naglalaroan lang natin ang tao. At stake dito yung posisyon namin. At stake dito kung anong gagawin sa amin ng tao doon sa distrito namin. Nagpunta kami dito, dala-dala namin kung ano yung gusto ng mga tao doon. Nagtatanong kami. Hindi kami basta lang pupunta rito at makikipag-debate rito, makikipag-diskusyon dito, nang hindi namin tatanungin kung anong damdamin ng mga constituents namin. Tinanong namin sila at sinabi, pabor kami, i-postpone dyan. Nagpunta pa nga ako ng Iloilo dahil nagkaroon ng seminars doon. Hindi lamang ang mga barangay officials, may mga kasama din itong mga iba pa mga sektor. Tinanong ko sila,
Hindi lamang mga taga-distrito ko, pati taga-ibang distrito ng aming lalawigan. Kaya sana naman, huwag naman natin sasabihin, at our sake, our sake na, mapagpaganda lang natin sasabihin, at pinaglalaruan na lang ng kapwa congressman ninyo, ang nangyayaring ito. Hindi naman, sana naman yun.
Mr. Chair, I would like to react because my name was mentioned. My name was mentioned. So I would like to react. Yes, but Mr. Chairman, it's a personal privilege because my name was mentioned.
From the point of view of the chair and according to our rules, let us stick to the matter on hand. Okay? Congressman Iriza, please.
Yes, ang pinaglalaban ko po, yung naririnig ko sa aking distrito. Kaya ako sinasabi yan on the basis of what I've heard from my constituents. Sa kanila po, para sa kanila, pinaglalaroan natin yung eleksyon. 3 beses na nating pinopospone. Yun po ang aking naririnig sa aking mga constituents at bilang kinatawan nila, yun ang pinaparating ko dito.
Mr. Chairman, it's just a rejoinder sa manifestation ni Deputy Speaker Abu. Kasi baka we're going way off the topic, no? Postponing the election does not go against the principles of democracy. I don't know, there are lawyers here who would agree with me that postponing it is not actually going against the principles of democracy. Sino ba magsasabi na hindi demokrasya yung pag-postpone? The reason why we are postponing is because there are valid reasons why we should postpone these elections. And during the previous administration, they also postponed it. I'm not just sure how many times you did postpone it during the previous administration, but there were postponements as well. So, Mr. Chair, as a rejoinder to the statement of Congressman Abu, let's not forget that postponing it is not totally deleting, canceling, or removing elections in this country. We are just postponing these particular elections because there are more serious problems that we should address first before we continue this. Of course, we want the SK to sit. Of course, we want the new barangay leaders to serve. Sino may ayaw? Lahat naman tayo ganun eh. And who is more aware and informed about the situation in the ground other than those that are representing the barangays? Andito yung liga ng barangay. Andito yung liga ng mga city. Andito tayo lahat. Tayo mismo. We are all aware of the situation in our respective barangays. So that's just a manifestation as a rejoinder to the statement of Congressman Abu. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Barbers. Deputy Speaker Castro.
Mr. Chairman, there is no doubt that Congressman Erice is bringing the sentiment of his constituents here. There is also no doubt that Congressman Abu and everybody in this committee bring the sentiments of their constituency. We cannot resolve this issue by continuously discussing it. But we can resolve this issue outright by going into votes. And that's why the motion, dividing the House on whether we will postpone the election or not. I submit, Mr. Chairman.
So there is a... Sure. Yes, the last objector. Congressman Ton City, News Service.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, kapansin-pansin po na sa hearing na ito, sa mga proposal na i-postpone sa pangatlong beses, sa pangatlong pagkakataon, ang mga proposal mula October 2018 hanggang May 2020. Yan po ang mga proposal ngayon na nakaharap sa atin. Ang unang-unang tinanong at unang-unang pinakinggan ay yung mga liga ng barangay. Tapos, ang sabi ng kinatawan ng liga ng presidente ng liga ng barangay, si Attorney Abisamis, of course, nagulat ba tayo, sinusuportahan nila Ngunit sinabi rin nila, hindi po self-serving, hindi po makasarili ang pagsuporta namin. May mga ibang dahilan po. Mawalang galang na po, attorney, pero ang kapal ng mukha nyo para sabihin na hindi self-serving ang proposal. Marami sa inyo mga third-termer na.
Excuse me, Congressman
From
the chairman, order please. Let that statement be stricken out, please. Because that's unparliamentary. Please.
Mr. Chair, on behalf,
Mr. Chair.
on behalf of my district.
To proceed with
Mr. Chair,
the current matter on hand.
I am proceeding with the current matter on hand.
There is a current
Ang
motion.
sentimiento po ng mamamayan na
let-
hindi natin dito, na hindi natin tinanong dito ay matuloy ang eleksyon. Sumusobra na po na sa pangatlong beses ay araw na naman ang karapatan. Excuse me, nagkasalita ka ba, attorney? I have the floor.
Session suspended.
Hindi pa nadadali si Bindong yan.
Pare, wala na muna. It's a member of the house. Better relax.
Sergeant at Arms. Sinong i-appoint natin Sergeant at Arms?
Mr. Chair, I'm being threatened by the
We are currently suspended and
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chair, I'd like to reiterate my point of order. We have a motion on the floor.
session resumed. Hearings.
Okay,
So
yeah.
there is a pending motion. Hearing all the objections, and they were given the opportunity to speak. So, can you please restate the motion, Deputy
The motion
Speaker?
is whether or not, first motion is whether or not we will postpone the election. The second motion is which date are we going to set for the next election? No. That's the first motion. Then later on, we can resolve when.
Masyado no, ano yan? Presumptus naman yan na ina-assume na na-approve na.
There is a motion to postpone the elections. We heard the objections. As many as are in favor, please stand. Pabilang mga...
Pagtay na. Only members. Yes. We have 19 official members. Members and executives. Si Kong Barbers. No. 14 pa na sa 15. At ito pa sa likod. Naman kumayo
Ilan?
si ano. Mother cousin mo.
Okay.
14.
14.
14 in favor.
Those who are against, please stand up. Members, voting members.
2 against. 14. Yes.
Okay. So the results of the voting is 14 in favor, 2 against. So the motion is carried.
Mr. Chair,
Deputy Speaker Rani Abu is recognized.
I move that the date of our election for next SKM barangay elections will be on October 2018. Second Monday of October 2018.
There is a motion duly seconded. As many as are in favor, please stand up. Ilan? 17. As many as are against, please stand up. Just the date, rather.
Yes, I'm against it.
I'm against, so that's immaterial. So, 17 members of the committee voted in favor of the motion to move the May 2018 elections to second Monday of May, or second Monday of October 2018.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I move that we
Speaker.
instruct the Secretariat to consolidate the four bills wherein the date of election will be on second Monday, October 2018, and may the proper committee report, to be referred to the Committee on Rules for proper disposition. So move, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I withdraw my motion.
Yes.
I withdraw my motion,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
Mr.
withdrawing
Chairman.
that.
Yes, thank
Vice
you very
Chairwoman,
much, Mr. Chairman.
please
I
recognize.
move that everyone who voted in favor be a co-author of the bill.
So, any second? Any second? There's a motion, duly seconded. Motion is carried. All are co-authors.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the committee report subject to style.
There is a motion, duly seconded. Motion is carried.
I move to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Second. Hearing is adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the support.